Well, hi there. Welcome to Home Wizards. I'm Cindy Dole.
Hey, I'm Eric Stromer.
And we'd love to improve your home and improve your life. And now that we've made it through Thanksgiving,
yeah, I know, right?
we're getting ready for the next one.
And speaking of which, I'm wearing stretched pants.
Because of all the stuff.
Because I ate so much.
The stuffings and things.
I mean, I'm bursting.
Well, that's all right. Yeah. We have time to pace ourselves for the next event. And so we thought we would get you ready for all that there is tied to the next holiday. Not all, but baby steps.
Some things.
And one of the things that I love to kind of get ready before we get into poinsettias and our Christmas tree and all that other real official stuff, the Christmas cactus
it's a good it's a good transitional plant, isn't it?
It's so great because, in fact, they even have one that's the Thanksgiving cactus, and then they have the Easter cactus, and so thought we could talk you through the difference between what's now the Thanksgiving / Christmas cactus to the later on the Easter cactus, because they're two different kinds. They bloom at two different times in the year. You can have both, and they're great indoor plants as well as outdoor plants, and it's just so much fun. So I hope that
because they do come in 20 different colors.
I don't know about 20, but a big variety.
I've seen them in like an apricot color.
Apricot, more of a salmony, deeper color,
right. And then obviously
a vivid
red,
and then a light pink, and then right now in our studio we have kind of it's a cream with a little bit of a Barbie pink around the creamy white.
Very pretty.
So first of all, Christmas cactus, it's so popular because it's a winter flowering house plant, and it makes a great addition to any indoor setting. So here it is as the season is changing. You're getting ready for the holidays. You have something that now not only is going to flower, but guess what? As I just showed you a minute ago, I can now gift a friend with the plant, propagate it by snapping off a little bit of the little succulent leaf,
right? And
then you'll put it in some soil, and before you know it, it'll root.
I have my own Christmas cactus.
You have your own. Now you wouldn't have it flowering until next year.
Sure,
but it's very cool.
Yeah, so, and also it's important to mention that our homes now are primarily really dry because we've got the heaters on. We've probably got, the sun coming right through the window, making it even hotter with the greenhouse effect. And there's going to be very little moisture. So we definitely want to kind of prepare the environment to support all our houseplants, not just the Christmas cactus.
Very important because a lot of times as our houseplants, maybe you've even brought some outdoor plants inside, which is a smart thing to do. But then all of a sudden, as the furnace is on and you may not pay attention, that now that heat's blasting away. So how do you care for a Christmas cactus? So you're out and about, you heard that Eric and Cindy were talking about it, and you saw it in the garden center, or even the grocery stores are selling them, and you know what? Spontaneous purchase. I'm going to take a Christmas cactus home.
You mean at the cash register when I'm checking
right there.
out? I get them.
You can't help it. And so good, but we want to make sure that it lives. So number one, the best advice is we overwater these guys. We also give it too much light. Now these guys, because they can grow on trees and out of trees, they like low light conditions. I mean, they want it to be bright, but they really don't like too much direct sunlight.
So it's just ambient bright light in a room.
Indirect, yeah. Like maybe in your family room, there's like a window and some sun just kind of comes in for an hour or two. You don't want the direct sun. It's going to burn its leaves, so the Christmas cactus, is not going to be happy there. It wants some moisture. It requires frequent and thorough watering, especially, in the spring and the summer. But right now, in the winter, you want to allow the Christmas cactus moisture levels to kind of almost dry out a little bit in between the watering. One of our sins is with all of our houseplants, we love them to death. We overwater them.
That's right. And then the roots start to rot, and then you're done. Right.
It pretty much is terrible. You never want to it's a cactus. You never want to let it sitting in water. So basically you just put a little bit of water, I'd say maybe, once a week tops. And a good idea is if you get like a tray or maybe even, like one of those little terracotta pot bottoms, you know what I mean? The trays beneath the pot, and put like little rocks in it and fill that base with water and put that, and then just set the Christmas cactus on top of that to kind of give it a little bit of humidity, and it'll kind of suck up some moisture from the bottom.
Okay, but that's not going to rot the roots.
No, just it's because the rock. So basically, your Christmas cactus is in a container.
Yeah.
And the roots are in the soil, so it's in there. It's not, and then now you're putting it on top of a tray that's filled with maybe an inch of rocks.
Okay.
And the water is in the rocks.
Okay, all right.
And now your little pot with a cactus in it, the roots are protected. It's way up inside.
Got it.
But it's sitting on top of the wet rocks, and it's just going to feel like it's getting a a steam like it's in your humidifier. It's in your
Sure.
sauna. It's
Okay.
getting the sauna effect.
Yeah, okay, that's good.
Yeah,
Good to know.
the antioxidants.
Yeah.
So the idea is, you want to make sure that it's water once a week, giving it the humidity, and then make sure, too, that the Christmas cactus is going to keep blooming throughout the year. Like right now when you buy them, they're going to be showering full with flowers. And
that's how they get you, right?
And that's how they
Just
get
like
you.
the poinsettia business, or as I like to call it, the poinsettia game.
It's in the
The holiday, they always bring up some new color.
I
They
know.
breed some new stuff, and then you're hooked. You get it. You spend your $7 and you're in.
So, but the good news is both with poinsettias and Christmas cactus, you can get them to keep blooming back. And so really, this is not a one-time purchase. This is not like something that you get and then you're going to throw it away.
Right.
This is something that can keep coming back and be like a lifelong friend.
That's good to know. Now, what do you suggest though for humidifying the interior air quality of the house? Do you get standalone interior humidifiers or what?
No, I don't. If you have allergies and issues, sinus problems, I've done that where I've had a humidifier in the bedroom, but I don't do that for my plants.
Because my
no.
dad used to do that on our front porch in the winter. There'd be so much moisture in the room that the windows would get ice crystals on them.
Oh my gosh.
And gorgeous house plants, by the way. In
Yeah.
the middle of the
You
winter
had
in Chicago.
you basically had a greenhouse.
It looked like a green. It really did. But you couldn't sit in there. You'd be wet after an hour, and you hear that noise like,
Your dad is really smart.
He's something. He was.
Well, so instead of that, you could basically add up to 50 to 60% humidity by just using this tray of water, like next to the plant, like just having it over to the side, because that water in the air is going to evaporate, and the plant's going to suck it up.
Okay.
So try that.
That's a good idea.
Every now and then, like maybe once a week, put a tray or a little pot of water in a waterproof saucer, or maybe just take all your stuff into the kitchen, and while you're doing dishes, is off to the side.
You know what I do, don't you?
Oh.
In my master bathroom.
Okay.
I'll put some of the wilty plants in there, whenever I'm taking a shower,
And
just to give them a little extra something.
A little kick.
Yeah, gorgeous. Works out well.
Okay, that's smart.
Yeah.
So when you are thinking about watering your Christmas cactus, the idea is to not overwater and to not underwater. And keep in mind, it's a tropical cactus. It's not a desert cactus. Unlike a lot of desert cacti, they want, complete dry. Well, this Christmas cactus can't get completely dry, because if it gets too dry, then those flowers, they're going to drop. And here's a sign that it's underwater. It has little flower buds. You're going to buy it, and this has blooming flowers, but also little buds that are getting ready to do their thing.
Right.
They're going to pop off before they bloom. That's telling you it's not humid enough.
Oh, I
and
see.
it's not
so
watered
that's the telltale
enough.
sign.
Yes.
If they fall before the flower shows up, you're doing something wrong.
And if the soil gets too dry, the flower buds will drop and the plant will wilt. Anyway, we have more to talk about, because I want you to understand not only the Christmas cactus, but the Easter cactus. You're listening to Home Wizards.
But I want to go home. I've got to go. It's so nice to come home to.
Welcome back. You're listening to Home Wizards. I'm Cindy Dole.
Hey, I'm Eric Stromer.
And are you excited about a Christmas cactus?
Well, now you got me.
I hope
Now
so.
that you've said that there's similarities between me and this Christmas cactus,
Because
same sleeping temperature.
Temperature between 50 and 55.
No, I don't like too much humidity. I like
See?
I
Just
like
a
something
little?
right there, and I don't like my roots to rot.
Yeah, you don't want your feet in soaking
No,
water.
not me.
But you don't want to be too
I
dry.
want dry shoes.
You want supple skin.
Supple, dewy skin.
Well, so let's talk about this lovely
Okay.
plant that's known as the Christmas, or also the previous Thanksgiving cactus, and then later another version, the cousin, is the Easter cactus. And it's so great.
What's the color palette on that one?
It's also kind of pinks and salmons.
Yeah.
It's just the difference is the leaves, and also when they bloom. And so anyway, they're very similar, but there's subtle differences. So for the Christmas cactus, which right now you can find and enjoy as an indoor plant, and then later you can take it outside. But the idea is the Christmas cactus should be in a spot where it gets indirect but bright light during the daylight hours.
Yeah, not direct sun, not in a hot window.
It should have total darkness at night. It wants uninterrupted 12 hours of sleep, just like Eric Stromer.
Yeah, thank you.
And between the dark treatments, It wants to have not too much water, but just a little bit,
Right.
like maybe once a week, and let it kind of dry out a little bit, but not over dry, because if it dries out all the way, what's going to happen? Well, all the little flower buds are going to start nipping off before it even blooms. But if it's just sopping wet like it's a fern, well, then all of a sudden the leaves are going to fall off because the roots are oversaturated.
Sure. Gotcha.
So it's a little persnickety. It's a little bit of a, high, it doesn't seem like it's high maintenance, but it's got a little special needs. Let's just say that.
I understand.
You understand? It's a
Special
special needs plant.
Yeah, that's right.
In a good way. So when you see that the flower buds are forming, in fact, I'm hoping when you buy one, you'll see it already has some beautiful blooms and then little baby buds waiting, just waiting. So when that happens, you want to increase a little bit of the light and a little bit of the humidity, right? And just kind of go from there. Now, as you're caring for this post-bloom, you can actually prune your Christmas cactus about a month after it's done blooming. This is going to encourage the plant to branch out even further. And what happens is it won't look very pretty after the blossoms have faded. Some people wait until March or something. But then, and you're going to stop watering it for maybe 30 days, like maybe from January on, just stop watering it. But what's going to happen is you're going to share your plant with other friends.
Oh,
So
the
think
gift
about-
that keeps on giving.
So in the new year, this
Yeah.
is a kind of fun little thing. You're going to propagate your Christmas cactus, cutting off the little Y sections. You'll notice that the leaves have these little, how would you describe it? They have like almost little hand things that keep going hand to the next, to the
Right,
next.
like almost like section legs of
Yeah.
a spider.
Yeah, and so you're going to cut off each little section after it stopped blooming, for maybe 2 or 3 little joints. And now you can let that dry for a few hours and then into like little baby 3-inch pots with some potting soil.
Oh, yeah, okay.
You put it in halfway down and you water it just sparingly to prevent any root rot. But now you just let it sit there for maybe 4 to 6 weeks and it's going to start rooting. And now I'm going to say, Eric, I have some presents for you. I would like to share with you some Christmas cactus in about 6 weeks.
And that's
So-
it. And then we rejoice because the gift of the Christmas cactus is upon us.
And then now it's like by now it's going to start to mature by 6 weeks after that, and you can put it in a bigger pot, and you're off to the races. And so the next Christmas, you will have, by Thanksgiving, you'll start to see it blooming again, and you'll have it. So that is the story of the Christmas cactus. And so basically be thinking of getting this now, enjoying it throughout Christmas, after Christmas, shutting it down, stop watering it, snipping off the little, sections of the leaves, and then you're going to put it in soil and then give it about 6 weeks. And then at the end of January, maybe in between February or so, give it to somebody else. And you are going to be giving the gift of the Christmas cactus.
And then are you amending the soil with
Yes.
fertilizer? What do you recommend?
So
there?
what you do, you would after you take the cuttings off, you
Yeah.
would give it about 24 hours just to let it dry out overnight.
Yeah.
Then you would use some peat moss and maybe a little bit of perlite soil mix, because again, this is a cactus. It's not a desert cactus, but it's a tropical cactus, and so you don't want it to be sitting in moisture. You want it to drain really well.
Right.
So that's how you would amend it.
Because it is a different soil, isn't it?
Yeah. So it's potting
It's
mix.
got more. It's not as. It can't get as wet.
Right.
It's a little drier.
It's not
Yeah,
like
yeah,
a
I
fern.
understand.
It's not like just sitting in constant moisture.
Yeah.
It wants a little bit because it's tropical. It wants humidity, but it wants to be dry. It wants the roots to kind of drain really well. So that peat moss, about half peat moss and half of that perlite that has like almost like little styrofoam balls in it, and then you plant that in your little container, and you could put it in a bright window or bright area outside and then mist it. And, you just kind of keep watching your Christmas cactus as it becomes another Christmas cactus.
See, that's a nice idea for gifts, right?
I think it is.
Yeah.
So now the Easter cactus, because I have both. Now the Easter cactus, the thing that's so unusual is that the leaves on the Easter cactus don't have the
They look
rigid,
different, don't they?
It's kind of more rounded. Like so on
Yeah.
the Christmas cactus, I keep calling them hands. It's hard to describe the sections of the leaves, but this one has more of a bulbousness to it. It doesn't have sharp edges. So the Thanksgiving Christmas cactus has these sharp edges
More
to
jagged
it. Almost
leaves.
like a maple leaf.
Yeah, that's right.
Whereas this is just like a bulbous round thing for the Easter cactus. And they call it Easter cactus because it too, which comes from South America and is found growing naturally on a tree.
Yeah.
But the Easter cactus which is very similar, it blooms in the springtime. So now if you're really smart about this, you're going to have almost year-round blooming.
It's kind of cactus crazy, isn't it?
Cactus crazy.
Yeah.
So now the Easter cactus, it's going to bloom in the spring, and it starts between February and goes all the way through May, and the Thanksgiving Christmas cactus starts like in, October, and goes to January. So really, almost, you have like a really long part of the year where you've got these guys going.
This is fantastic.
Yeah.
And you can put these in hanging baskets because they will cascade, right?
Very good idea. Very good idea because they have like this spilling thing. They totally are cascading. And the idea, the Easter cactus, I mean, they're kind of known, for the bristles that can be found on the edges of the leaf segments. And so the flowers too are a little bit different. The flowers almost look like starbursts, whereas the flowers on the Christmas cactus, they kind of come out almost like a shrimp.
Now you're taking it to a whole nother level. You're going shrimp on me.
I know you love a little peel and ate shrimp. I knew if I went bacon, other food items.
I wouldn't relate. Yeah,
but can you see how the flowering of the Christmas cactus, it kind of cascades out almost like a shrimp.
Yeah, it really
does. And
whereas
the Easter cactus, it's more like a sunflower or a starburst.
Okay. But the only ones that are available right now during this time of year are the Christmas cactus. You're not going to see the Easter one showing up in the store.
Well, you probably wouldn't see it in the store, but if you had one from like I have some in my patio, and it's in a shady part of the patio, I call it Cindy's Cave, where I work on my garden projects. It's there, left from last. It's just sitting there dormant, and as it should. So you might see them in some garden centers where they have, a lot of different specialty things. They might have the Easter one as well.
Right.
But the ones
that's how they get you, though. They're all blooming and they're showing up and everything looks absolutely beautiful right now. And then you get it home, you get 2 weeks with it, and then it's back to being dormant again. I hate that part.
But really, I mean, the Christmas cactus, the Easter cactus, they have so much in common. But the idea is that you can grow them both inside and outside. And then you have a lot of shady areas.
I do.
On your patio.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I actually have a shade screen above a side area that's really helpful to keep the ferns and stuff from burning because where I live in the summer, it's like 3,000 degrees. So without that, I don't think things would survive.
So the main difference is that the Easter cactus is really sensitive to overwatering. I mean, it can cause great damage to the plant to the point where you'll see that the leaves that are kind of like the succulent part, that they shrivel up. So I would say that the main thing is don't overwater, don't over light. It wants just indirect light, but give it a little bit of humidity, and you're ready to rock and roll to have Christmas cactus and Easter cactus year round.
I feel completely prepared and confident. Thank you.
Are you going to buy a Christmas cactus?
I'm going to buy 7 of them.
I want you to get a couple.
I might even give one to our engineer.
Okay, good.
Because I love him.
Eric Stromer, Cindy Dole.
Listen to how good it sounds. You hear that?
We'll put all this on the website so you can see all the differences, and hopefully you'll enjoy this as well. We're listening to Home Wizards.